Hi everyone, I am Rachel Cheney. I'm the Family Consumer Science Agent here in Yell County. And so today we're going to be talking about coding. And one of my jobs is I work with 4-H, and 4-H is for ages 5 to 19. We have clubs throughout the county that you can be a part of. And one of our main areas is science. We also do stuff in healthy living and civic engagement as well. So coding is one of the things related to science. And so I have a little bit of information here, just some brief information on what is coding. So it's a series of instructions or even commands that you use for computers, telling them what you want them to do. So kind of giving them some instructions and layouts for how to do things. Coding is used in everything from websites to apps on your phone. And some types of coding that I came up with that people maybe recognize is like HTML and JavaScript are two types of coding. So some terms to think about. So code, like I said, is the instructions in a computer program that computer scientists use to tell a computer what to do. An event is something that causes an action and can be triggered by key presses or messages sent from one part of a computer to another. Sequencing is when you put things in order. And this is really important. When writing a code, it's important to carefully decide the order which the code will run. And I don't know if y'all have seen videos, or maybe your teacher did. I saw this back, this was something I saw and some others, is they talked about an example of showing telling someone how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? And for a computer, you have to tell it everything. You know, you can't be, you need to tell it all the steps, not just some of the steps, or you're going to have some issues there. There's loops, and that's a way to repeat an instruction or a set of instructions. And then binary code, which is what we're using with our activity, is a code system using the binary digits 0 and 1 to represent a letter, digit, other character in a computer or electronic device. And so that's kind of some key terms to maybe remember with coding. So I'm not going to play this book because I want us to give us enough time to do the activities. I may try to play. But if you want to read aloud, this is in your activities that you got, the little pamphlet. It has a video that you can watch and learn about Dorothy Vaughan. She was a computer scientist, and she actually, if you've watched, there's a movie called Hidden Figures that talks about her as well. And so this book is a good one to read. We have, I think, a question. I can't hear you though. You're muted. Hello?
My cousin just got here, so.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, hi. How are y'all?
We're good.
Okay. So before we get into the activity, what are your names? What's everybody's names? You can just tell me your first name.
Edison. Avery.
Okay. I think you're muted over there. It's Addison. Is that right?
Yes.
And Avery. And then,
This is cousin Dean.
Dean. Okay.
Wait, how do you spell it? D-E-A-N. He spells it D-E-A-N.
Okay. And what's your name? I know it, but.
Abby.
Abby. All right. Yeah. You have to remind me.
A-B-Y.
All right. Addie or Abby?
Abby.
Abby. All right. Thank you. I had to make sure. So in your package, you got a couple of different handouts. They were Code Your Initials is one of the handouts. And that's the one we're going to get to first. So if you have that handout in front of you, What you'll do if you haven't already done this activity is you place your initials down that first column. So I'm going to pull it up on the screen, the PDF copy. Let me stop share for just a second. And we will go through it and make sure everybody's on the same page. That sound okay? Okay. So I'm seeing everybody's code your initials. It looks like, okay, so it's 2 pages. You have on one side your binary code. So each letter, like I said, has a number, maybe a 0 or 1, a series of those that's put together to give you your letter. Okay, and so here you would put your initials, whatever those might be. So I'm gonna add to it just for an example. So mine's R L. Oh, what just happened? Trying to go full screen on me then. So I've got RLC. Okay, and then is mine. Don't know about yours. That's gonna be what you'll put on that side, and then you're gonna go through, as we're seeing on the screen from some. So I'm gonna find R. So as we can see it right here, there's the R. I'm gonna write it down, and because I can't scroll back and forth, and then I'm going to code that on the other side. Okay, so for mine it would be 0, 1, 0, 1. So y'all see what I'm doing? Does this make sense? Have y'all I know Abby has done hers. 0. Okay, so that's my first one. Let's not judge that I can't go in a straight line with my 0 and 1s here. Okay, so then if I had this in a normal printed out, which I'm doing it on the computer, so I can't really show. I think I can add we're just going to add a check mark just to give you an example. So you're going to, on the chart, for any 0, you're going to leave that square blank. Okay, we're not going to put anything in it. It's going to stay blank. For each one you're going to put a color. So for me, I would put a color here, and then I would put one here and here. So how many shaded boxes would I have?
3.
3, that's right. So you're going to do that on your worksheet. Then you'll go in and do the next one and look at yours. So we'll get somebody else's. Monica, what's your initials?
M-A-M.
All right, so what's M? And see, hers becomes a little easier because she's got 2 that have the same. So once she gets that M, she can figure, that one's an easier one to figure out. That's why you did that, right? All right, so we got this. And okay, so as you can see, I found her M. Can't do the straight line. So how many, where would I shade? What would I shade, Miss Monica?
What?
So what numbers would I shade? What's the numbers again?
I don't know.
So number 1, the 1s are the ones we would shade.
Okay.
So for me, because I can't do shading on here, we're going to do check marks.
Okay.
So these are the ones that would be shaded. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry,
So
I'm doing that full. I'm not paying attention.
Oh, you're fine. That's understandable. I forgot about that you were working on that. So yeah, so you're going to do yours. So I know Abby's done with hers. Are the other two, are y'all still working on yours, Addison and Avery?
What?
Are y'all still working on your coding your initials handout? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Let me see yours, Addie. I saw that you had yours. You're showing it. Did your full name. That works too, and it looks correct. All right, Addison and Avery, how about you guys? How are y'all doing?
Well, I've got it.
Okay.
Avery, don't copy this next one that I'm doing, okay? Because it's not your initial.
All right.
I don't know. So I'm gonna do this one, but I don't know. You are going to do this.
Mainly, you're just matching. So first off, we need to figure out our initials. Okay, so think of your full name. Okay, so mine's Rachel Lee Cheney, so it's my full name, and that's what my initials are RLC. Okay, so think of what that first, middle, and last name is, and that's what you're going to put in. Abby, do you have a question? You're muted. Abby, you're muted if you want to unmute.
Yeah, I didn't know if y'all meant like put your full name.
Yeah.
Or just put put your name.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's fine. You had enough spaces that you could do that. I couldn't do that with Rachel. No, I wouldn't have enough spaces. So if you don't have enough spaces, you can just do your initials. So the first letter of your first name, the first letter of your middle name, and then the first letter of your last name. And you're going to put that in the box. All right, what's your question again, Abby? Or sorry, Abby, what's your question?
When y'all put 4 things, I'm like, did they know how to spell it? Or did they just put it like...
Well, some people have maybe more than... Maybe 4. They have 2 middle names, or maybe their last name, they have a last name that has 2 kind of last names with a hyphen in the middle. So that's why I think we supplied that extra block just in case, to make sure everybody was able to put their full name there, because everybody's got maybe something different. So that is why. But how's everybody else doing with this activity?
I got it pretty good.
Got it pretty good. All right. Well, you got it too. Awesome. Okay, so that is our code your initials activity. Okay. Now, do you have a question?
Yes. How do you code on a computer?
So I'm going to show you a little video, and that's the next kind of thing we're going to show. And coding is different. I mean, there's different ways that you can code on a computer. Now, obviously, I've got some fun little activities where you can do the coding. Hold on just a second. So let me share this real quick. So once you have your initials, you can actually go and animate your name, and so there's ways that you can do that. Let me share my screen, and we're going to share sound.
Olga and I work in...
Okay, so I'm going to play this video.
Hi, my name is Olga and I work in Google's Computer Science Education Department. And I'm Fiona. I teach CS First classes, and I'm a team leader with 4-H, America's largest youth organization where kids learn by doing. Yeah. In this activity, you'll use code to, drumroll please, animate. Animate a name! Computer science uses code to give computers instructions, which is super cool because you can create anything you can imagine. Computer science is a subject you can study in school, and it's also a career or something you can do just for fun. You could use computer science to protect the environment, make music, launch rocket ships, save lives, and so much more. Today you'll use computer science concepts like sequencing, events, and loops to animate a name. To start, choose a word to animate. You could choose your name, a pet's name, an animal, a sport, a place, or anything you like. Your animation can express the emotion or personality of the word, tell a story, or just dance and be silly. It's all up to you!
After watching this video, click the Starter Project link. This will open Scratch in a new tab. Scratch uses code blocks to give characters called sprites instructions like when a sprite is clicked, make it change color. After opening Scratch, return to this tab and choose videos to learn how to add and animate letters to make your project come to life. Watch as many videos and add as many letters as you like. And here's a helpful trick. While you work, pause your video and go to the Scratch tab to complete a step in your project. Or better yet, rearrange your windows to show Scratch and a video at the same time.
Fiona, what did you make for your project? I animated the name of my 4-H club.
Wow! Well, I animated the name of my home country, Colombia.
Now it's your turn. Open Scratch in a new tab. Title your project with the name you're going to animate. Return to this tab and select a video. Watch the video and complete the steps in your project. Then, watch more videos to complete your animation.
It's time to get creative.
It's time to get coding.
Okay, and sorry, I was playing around with it. That may be why you heard a cat meow during the middle of the video. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. Okay, this is something you can do on your own with your name or whatever. I'm going to show a little bit of it. We're not able to do all of it, but just to give you an example. So we had this, right? This is our coding thing, and I'm going to delete it just so y'all can see. I have a question. I see. Abby, what's your question? You have to unmute. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
That meow that you put on there, that was pretty loud.
Oh, I'm sorry
Once I heard
about
that. I'm like, whoa, what was that?
I'm sorry about
loud.
that. I didn't realize it was going to play when I hit it. But that's something definitely to do. So this is where you can do the different sprites and different things. So I think you could change it to different letters, if it'll let me. All right, so let's see if I can find. What do we want to? Do we want to pick something to code? And I know I said animate a name, but we can do. Want to do a? It can be any. What's a word y'all can think of that's short? Library. How about let's do book? Would that work?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna add our B. I'm gonna delete this. Okay, we're gonna add some more letters. So O. My computer's being kind of slow. And our nut. Well, there we got blue. Okay. And let's do a K. Okay, so there's our thing, and we could even add a picture, a book. I'm sure. Well, they don't. Looks like they have a book. Let's see what else they've Surely they would have a book, right? Here, we'll add a cat. How about that? Okay, so we've got our things in there. So these are called sprites. Okay, see that up here? So you can have when the sprite is clicked. Okay, that's the first thing. This is kind of your event. You could also have, when space key is pressed, we could add that in there. And this is what I had done. So I had played that, and whenever I did, I think it had the wrong thing. Where'd that go? Well, I just lost it. Sorry, guys. And this doesn't matter. I will say that. So when you're doing this, where this is on your thing, that's not going to be a big deal. Okay. So it should. Okay. So that's playing it. So whenever the cat's clicked, it's gonna meow. Okay. So if you wanted to add other stuff, you could have it stop all sounds. Let's do the bee. How about that? Okay. So for the bee, what do we want to? Want to try the sprite? We've got motions. Do you want to try one of any of these? Let's say.
How about color change?
Color. Where was that one at? Did I miss it? Okay, here's what we'll do. That's a good thing. So real quick, let's look at how do we change the color.
In this video, you'll make a letter change color when it's clicked. This changes the look of a letter in your animation and makes it stand out. To start, add a new sprite to your project from the Scratch library. Scroll through the sprites to find the letter you need. Click on the sprite to add it to your project. This example uses the letter A, but you will add a sprite for the name you are animating. Next, code the sprite to change colors. Click the Code tab and select the Looks menu. Click, hold, and drag out a Change Effect by block. Change the drop-down to Color. Click the block to see what it does. Each time you click, the sprite changes color. Next, make the sprite change color when it is clicked. To do this, click the Events menu. Blocks from this menu tell the computer when to run code. Drag out a When this sprite clicked block. Attach it to the top of the Change Effect by block. Click the sprite to see what happens. The sprite changes color when you click it.
Alright.
Now it's your turn.
Okay, so we'll go back to this. Just had to go find it. So here is when the sprite is clicked. We're going to change the color. And whenever we click it, see the color changing? Now, you could also have the event to be when the spacebar is clicked. And move that, and then we would delete this one. So when I press the space bar, it changes the color. Does that make sense how I'm doing that? So actually Scratch is available to you. You can actually do this activity, and I know Miss Monica and I would love to see you take your initials or take your name and do a code where you do this and send us your how it looks. So, and then now I clicked the cat and it meowed really loud. Sorry about that. And you can also stop and go back and it will take you out. But yeah, so you can do this and let us know what you ended up doing. We'd love to see it. as well.
Absolutely. Before y'all run off, let me launch the poll real quick. So get your guardians or your parents to come in and help you with the poll, please.
I do have a couple of little things left, and then while y'all are doing the poll, so we had the break the 4-H code.
Oh, come here.
And that is actually letting you know a little bit about 4-H. I've talked about 4-H every once in a while when we've met. And so if you have the answers for that, let us know. You can also submit it to me. But you'll find out the 4-H's, what each of those mean. And then also the colors. I don't know how we're going on time. I know we're probably running close, so I don't want to take too much of a time with this, but you can do this activity that gives you a little bit more experience with that binary code. You're going to use that binary code worksheet that you used for the initials to find these. And I know it looks like a lot, but a lot of them are very similar as letters, maybe use similar letters, so you don't have to look up a whole bunch. So once you find the first ones, you'll find the other ones pretty easily. Did everybody do this activity already? Do y'all want to tell me what each one is, or are y'all still working on it?
We haven't even started yet, but I think this will be pretty easy.
Okay, all right, and I see that she had done it and it looks good, but I'll put it down so they can do it, Abby, too, so we don't expose all the answers. So there is a complete list of activity resources out there like Scratch, which is what we use. There is also Scratch Junior, which is for younger kids. So I'm going to send these in the chat. Blockly is one that has a bunch of fun games that you can do. I've done like the puzzles, so you can learn how to do different how to code in a different way. So this one has, for each one, you're gonna code how to do it. So for instance, we've got the duck, and you're gonna put the, wherever the duck is, put it with it, and then you choose what they do by dragging these. Oh, actually it's what they have. Yes, so obviously read the instructions before you go to try to do one of these, but there's puzzles and different themes through Blockly that helps teach you how to code. So that's one resource that you have. Hours of Code also had a lot of activities and different things. I think I saw one, you can have a dance party and code dancing and different stuff like that. And then code.org also had some fun activities and courses that you can take to learn how to code. And the Computer Science Playbook, has all those resources and information in there. It's actually available on our website too. So I will send these in the chat, and just to kind of see, so what did you learn today? Is there something new that you learned today about coding that you didn't know before?
Yes. I thought it was more complicated.
Yeah, that's correct. It's easier than what you think, especially with those blocks and how they have those. And watching even those Animate a Name videos where they show you how to do the different things makes it a lot easier.
Yes. I saw that type of code, like Scratch, kind of on a Barbie movie, and I thought it would be really complicated.
Yeah, it's fun. You can do a lot of things with it, and using those things. So I hope you will do this. But coding also is something, it's instructions. So same thing in what we do in our everyday life. Like I talked about telling someone how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You need to know how to make it, and you need to know step by step what to do. And the same with coding on a computer. You don't want to leave out a step, because if I would have messed up and not added those blocks together, let's say, they wouldn't do anything. So your coding has to be to where it's correct. And if it's wrong at any place in there, you'll know, because it won't do what you asked it to do. Same with telling someone, put peanut butter on the bread. Let's say the bread's still in the bag. Well, they got to take the bread out, right? That's kind of the first thing they would want to do. So you got to be specific in what you're doing with coding. And Abby, you have a question. I see. If you want to unmute.
I've never seen them do coding in a Barbie movie or anything, but have heard of coding, but I've never really seen somebody do it.
Okay. Well, coding is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of great resources out there that you can do it, and it's educational. It's something you can use in everyday life, especially as computers become more and more part of our society. It's good to know how to do. And I'm going to pass it over to Monica. I think she has some books that are on coding that you can use as well.
Sure do. We have 4 or 5 books right now. This one is about Scratch, exactly what you just learned about. So if you're having trouble at home and you want a book to walk you through it, it's going to walk you through so much fun stuff. And there might be stuff in this book that you can't find online that you didn't know that they had, but it'll be here in this book. If you are a friend of Star Wars, we have Star Wars coding, which is really cool. And then these two are much thinner. They're easier to digest. Both of these are for coding for kids. So they are available to check out anytime.
Well, that's awesome. I think I could have used that Scratch code book while I was trying to figure out, but I did like the Animate name had a little video that we could watch, which was helpful. And then, that's some great stuff that you can use for coding, and hopefully definitely share with us if you can. Go and animate a name or word and send us a little video of what you ended up doing. We'd love to see it. Monica, how would they send that? Is there a way?
They can send it to me directly by email, or they can connect with me on Facebook, and our email I will put in the chat.
And I will put my tag. So if you want to tag me in your Facebook post with it, you can tag me using that, and then you can also email it to me. Here's my email, because I'd love to see what y'all ended up doing. So, I hope you enjoyed this activity and learned more about coding, and we'll plan to code in the future. Abby, do you have a question?
The coding looked way harder than it was, because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
But it's actually turned out to be pretty easy.
And I will say, Lego coding is another thing. I didn't include that one. I'm going to have to find that resource, but there's even a resource for how to do coding with Legos as well. I think that's even in your handout. It's got a little Lego activity. So with that binary code, you could even, if you have Legos at home, use one color for the zeros and one color for the ones, and that's even giving you a visual of what a code would look like too. So yeah, I thought coding was a lot harder than what it is, and I'm really like that they have these games and things that you can do at home to learn how to code. All right, does anybody else? I think Abby, do you have something? Not to unmute. There you go.
I've never heard of Lego coding, but we have a lot of Legos at home, and I just got done building a Lego house today.
Okay.
A big one.
Wow. Well, check out, I think there's a Lego coding activity, I believe, on your worksheet that you can use. And I'm sure there's some other resources out there too. All right, Addison, Avery, do y'all have anything?
No. If you want to get on Scratch, do you just type in Scratch and then maybe it'll...
You can use the links that I sent. It's scratch.mit.edu is the link. So I'm going to
You
share
can
this
find it on Google
screen.
by searching for Scratch coding.
So Scratch, yeah. And then there's Scratch Junior. So that's for younger kids if you want to use that. And Scratch coding. And it looks like there's even an app. So if you want, there may be a way you can download it to your iPad or Kindle or something like that too. So, and And there you go. Well, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I just appreciate y'all joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month. Not sure yet what the activity will be, but it'll be related to your theme of Tales and Tales. And I think you have one coming up this month too, if you want to tell a little bit about that.
So in a couple of weeks, we're going to make bird kites. And I believe everybody has already picked up their bird kite. So we'll follow the instructions and we'll make it all together. Okay?
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. I'll see you next time.
See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.